Channel Paradigm Review Show, number one in interweb martial arts action programming. Been a minute, but if you guys remember way back when, 2018, that's how me, Mac, and Gaz originally launched the channel. We're exclusively doing martial arts action film. We've since branched out, done some different genres, Gaz, and done some audience recommendations, but we've mostly stuck to action, grindhouse, vigilante film. Head on over to Mosh Shinobi. We're currently dual streaming and subscribe to Gaz over there. Today is Striking Rescue 2024. This is the one that Gaz and I plugged for weeks, so we were like, yeah, we'll probably review that when we find it. I don't know, we can't find that one. Most professional review show on YouTube. So amazingly, surprise to you guys is we actually found the film, both watched it, and screened it for this review. We've been talking about that since like January, yes.
Yeah, it's been a while. But it's not as bad as that time. This wouldn't be the most pro thing to say, I guess, but through, I guess, alternative circumstances, we took a break from an old show and we came back with like, here's an 18-month update. Still not as bad as that.
Yeah. In Paradigm Review Show, we've never fallen off quite that badly yet. But anyway, yeah. So wait for the signal to go out. Really not much channel news. We want to do Sword of Doom next week. We have shot episode 5 and 6 of Zodiac Files, the main series, which is what you all come here for. So Gabe and myself will be editing episode 5 to try to get that out, released as soon as possible. Members will get 24-hour on demand first, and then it will go live for the regular subscribers after that. So if you want to get locked into that, click the join button. If you want to get into your donations to get your name in the credits as a supporter, use the link tree, and we accept PayPal, Cash App, Venmo, pretty much anything. If you have some other alternative way, you can just email me and we'll figure it out if you want. And again, if you want your name plugged in the credits or your business, your handle, your Instagram, your friend's business, whatever you want can be credited there. And if you're the type of person who doesn't want, your name or any of your name on there or handle. So, Striking Rescue, Gaz and I will dive right in. The return of Tony Jaa, martial arts action superstar. I didn't really love his last few appearances, Gaz, which were, I think, like Fast and the Furious.
Fast and Furious 7.
Was that 7 he was in? And then I can't remember if he was in that third Triple X, but he was in Expendables 4, which is god awful. You can go back in the backlog and check me and Gaz's review of that, which is unfortunate because they have all the talent to make Expendables the best action franchise. But yeah, he's back. A Thai production. I thought this was pretty more drama than you've probably ever seen from Tony Jaa. What up, Slippy? Universal Soldier 1. Go back and run that. So this is Striking Rescue synopsis. A veteran Muay Thai expert goes on a take no prisoners mission of revenge after his wife and daughter are brutally murdered by mysterious forces. And this is pretty sweet because Gaz is a little bit more tapped into the Yakuza triad genre than I am, but had all the crime elements. Gaz had the martial arts action. I mean, it did have probably more weapons than some people are used to. I know, Gaz and I kind of just discussed this off air. When people watch like some of the new martial arts movies, they just like don't want guns in them. But like this isn't Jackie Chan in the 90s, you know what I mean? And Gaz knows Jackie Chan is my man. I didn't grow up like I was born in the mid 80s, so I didn't grow up on Bruce Lee. I grew up on Jackie Chan, so that was more the type of thing that I was used to when I got into the genre. Jackie's in his 70s now, so does it make sense for him to pop up in a movie in 2025 with no guns in it? I think it's a little bit more modernizing, in my opinion. You guys know what I watch: Gomorrah, Crime,
We've done, yeah, and that's a good point because you're right. We did grow up with Jackie Chan because it's like the exposure was Police Story and so on. And as we were talking about off air, with what they started to do with movies that have been made more since the 2000s to now, we could argue some of the late 90s, if it is set kind of mid 20th century to current day. Not so much emphasis on the wire effects, and if it's set obviously within that timeline when you've got Korean mob, Yakuza, Chinese gangs, Taiwanese mob, Thai mob, and so on, even the Indian mob as well. They will use the guns and they'll integrate that into the fight scenes as well to make it more great.
Absolutely.
I think that's why, Ross, they did go for a more dramatic angle with this, where there is a little more of the acting because of the story, what it revolves around, just I think to give it that little bit more more grit, more solid.
Agreed.
Because yes, okay, it is what you see is what you get. Entertaining action movie pretty much from the onset with a few slowdowns here and there. But that's a reason why I think we went for it, Ross.
Yeah, I totally agree. It's not the best pacing I've ever seen in any, least of all, a Tony Jaa film, but definitely more realistic performance from Tony Jaa, especially due to his age. I mean, he's not like 30s or whatever he was when he came on the scene with Ong Bak and
Kicking
Protector
butt,
in his
isn't he?
prime.
Yeah.
I wouldn't mess with him at any age.
Oh
Guys.
no, definitely not. Definitely not.
Spin kick me from 9 miles away, and that would be the end of the Ross show. But yeah, the guy's still fully capable, which is what I think he proved. So yeah, let me see what I can find on it. I don't think there's too much on it on Wiki, but we can see what they got. Otherwise, Gaz and I can kind of give you guys you know, a synopsis of the shot list. Definitely like a few big I'm actually not finding it. Maybe it's so low on the radar.
Yeah, this hasn't had that much hype or promotion at all, actually.
No, that was pretty interesting. So it comes up. Let's see. Okay, so it doesn't have a wiki page. Okay, so that's a first. Gaz and I will be freestyling this the rest of this movie review.
Yay!
It's on his wiki, but it doesn't have a solo page. That's all good. So yeah, so it's kind of introduced. They're kind of heavy on the politics and the kind of drug, monopoly complex, which is something you guys should be familiar with me talking about in Gomorrah from the Southern Italy perspective. But Gaz is out there in the UK. He's a little bit kind of more tuned into than I am, in the eastern side of things. But it's a lot of political manipulation involved in who's involved in the drug operation that gets this kind of politician's daughter Ting Ting involved and kidnapped. There's a lot of juxtaposition between Tony seeing his own wife and daughter kind of in that guy's family, even though he kind of sets out to assassinate that guy because he kind of holds him responsible for his family. But right off the rip, I mean, it gets jumping. You got the crime bosses there, Gaz, eating the hot pot or whatever it was, and
yeah, that was funny.
He comes in dressed up as the like delivery man, and he just like kicks the crap out of that whole squad, which is I always thought was hilarious. Like no one noticed that delivery man is way overqualified in hand-to-hand combat. Like
yeah, exactly. And I did think it was quite funny when they were all sat around eating the meal. You can just hear these guys being beaten up in the background, and no one seems to think, boss, don't.
Yeah, what's going on back there? Until a guy comes flying through the boxes and lands right in front of him.
But that was a good opening, and it was an entertaining one the way they set that up.
For sure, yeah. Tony Jaa plays Bei An, but there's quite a few. I think Michael Mao is Clay, who's the other Ting Ting's other bodyguard, right? He's pretty capable martial artist, so he was badass as well. Yeah. Had some cool scenes. Nah, I haven't heard of this. What's up, Beckham? I haven't heard of this, Slippy. I'm a Tony Jaa fanatic, dude. This is cool, man. I'm gonna check this out. Get this on my list.
Ooh.
Big
We'll
Tony Jaa fan here, dude. I love The Protector. I love Ong Bak 1.
The Ong Bak movies.
Yeah. Even some things that are just like unwatchable, like Expendables 4. Like Tony Jaa is probably the best part about it, but it's not the type of film you ever want to subject yourself to.
I do like Ross to say this real quick. The way they have the opening and his training, and how that's linked.
Yep.
At the end when we get there, that was cool.
Oh, the juxtaposition. Yeah, that's a bit like what we were talking about in Universal Soldier with the juxtapositions, juxtaposed shots of like showing it, and then of growing up.
No doubt, Mr. Beckham. No doubt. I wondered if you were a David Beckham fan, actually.
How's your split though? How's your split between bar stools? I mean, that's.
Or maybe he's got both. His killer soccer kick, the splits, and the spinning kick as well.
Well, if you get into a life or death situation, you're gonna have to do that split. In a slow mo fight at some point in your life. There's no way around it. I mean, Tony, the iconic Tony Jaa moves, guys. The elbow strike at the top of the head. The kind of the question mark kicks. I think he throws a big one. The beginning, Gaz, where he kind of sends that guy like face first into the coffee table or or whatever it was.
Yeah.
But yeah, there's some amazing fights. I mean, so the first kind of big after the one we just described, the first kind of big skirmish is when they go to kidnap Ting Ting, and the dude has the what's that, like a bulldozer or whatever it is, guys, kind of like a tractor that he flips the car.
Oh yeah, bro, the way that guy comes out bawling with the cigar in his mouth, and he's got like the high-end waistcoat on and suit, and he's so clean, and like there's like a whole gang of 100 guys just
massive brawl going on all around him. I call him the cigar smoking man, like the cigarette smoking man from X-Files. Yeah, they get that fight popping. Definitely some good action. Clay kind of pops off there when they kind of jump Clay and Ting Ting in the car. And then when Tony Jaa stole that truck, he stole the dude's key on the way out of that first place. Like, that truck was actually kind of awesome. It kind of comes like a bit of a character, like, because how he uses it in the fights. Obviously, when he pulls up to that kidnap fight, he just like drives into like 5 guys and just knocks them to the ground. Like, so stunt work is actually sick, guys, as Gaz was saying, with the big ensemble brawl casts. But every stunt goes over pretty badass. Camera work really good. Music is good. It's a little bit over stylized in parts, like Gaz was saying, with some of the fast forward and likewise with the slow mos. But like, other than that, I thought, especially in that last fight, Gaz, the way they cut around the guys as they're fighting and kind of get the strikes of the punches and kicks, very, very well done camera work.
Well, there's a number of scenes where they do close-ups on the exchanges too.
Yeah,
I guess, like they do in extreme sports and in motor racing, where they've got the camera angle and you feel like you're in the car or you're on the bike with the rider. So you're getting a bit that first person perspective. Particularly two scene spoilers: the hatchet woman, similar to the girl in the red who's armed with the red 2 who's armed with the 2 hammers. That scene where Tony Jaa's going back and forth with her, and she, hatchets are hitting the ground, and he's back up. That was well done. And
it was
also done a little later with another exchange with, I think it's with them somewhere else, and you hear the sounds of the hatchets hitting the actual floor as well. That was really good because it did give you that sense of danger, and then like you're along for the thrill ride, as I was saying, with that camera angle that they use in motorsports and extreme sports as well. So that was very well done.
Dude, I'm not sure what's going on with your audio, but your mic is kind of like fluctuating. It's like clipping up and down.
Right. I'll work
when you're close like that, you're good, but maybe just move your mic a little bit closer to you.
Probably because I was leaning back there. I was getting excited, so I'll try and stay still, which is...
Sounds cool.
You're right.
Yeah. Gaz can't move for the rest of the interview, so if he becomes really hard tonight, don't just ignore him in the background.
Okay. Should be fine now.
Yeah, you sound straight now. It was doing it last show, and I figure I just put you on before we go through the whole show, and and then I have to hear about it in the comments. So anyway, that aside, guys. So yeah, there's a bunch of different exchanges in the kidnapping scene. So a lot of the pacing, it really reminds me of like even like one of those Jason Statham movies where he's like what's that movie, Safe or Blitz or whatever, when he has to like go after the girl or whatever. Like this kind of seemed quite similar to that in terms of story and pacing. And then even this kidnapping scene, it's quite similar to that beginning shootout in Universal Soldier 3 Regeneration when they had the cars that we were talking about with John Hyams, and see our last show for what we said about some of that stuff. But there's like definitely a lot of reminiscent scenes of this, and that's not necessarily a bad thing because they certainly did their own flavor with the Thai production, which I thought worked. And the end of that kidnapping scene ends in kind of the 18-wheeler truck with Clay encountering the Axe Girl for the first time. Actually, is that the first time they show her? I think the first time they show her was when her and the cigar smoking man killed all those dudes.
Yeah, and she's got the signature crazy laugh, so this person's not exactly stable.
Blood splatter across her face. Extremely capable villain. Excellent performance, by the way. I mean, I feel like, with the Hollywood woke crap, Gaz and I are always the ones pointing out the female actress martial artist, like, hey, she's killing it out there in Asia, and they never get brought up into any of the European films. Like Gaz said, it's always just some actress with week training.
Yeah, or they claim they're doing it for the first time when no, that's not true.
Yeah, it's been 100%. It's been done 20 times. So she encounters Clay. Some cool strikes there with landing the axes across the inside of the truck when she hooks it into the hook on top and then throws that swing kick and kicks Clay out of the back. That was sick. And I'm not. We're probably going to miss some things, guys, because we don't really have a timeline to go by. But I know that eventually, when A-Ban encounters Ting Ting, he pulls up on her with a truck and he says, "Get in with me if come with me if you want to live," kind of line. That had nothing to do with this movie. I just thought I should do that Arnold impression right there.
As long as you don't do Cockney Cage.
Yeah. We're going to get to him at the end. We have a Mortal Kombat 2 update for you guys. It's not good. And so I don't know if that's when he makes her the noodles and explains the thing to her, but they decide to go to the slum village where they want to like make a deal with some of the thugs there. That is very rare. I don't know if you ever got to see it, Gaz, but like this whole slum scene, very similar to Twilight of the Warriors Walled In.
Yes. I've seen half of that movie.
Which is not a bad thing. It's a super dope scene. Twilight is good too. A little more overproduction in Twilight with the wires and such, as Gaz is known to say. Less so in Striking Rescue, but some insane sequences. So she goes up to that one dude and slaps him in the face, and the dude like pulls the kukri knife, like basically I'll kill you, blah blah blah. Probably suspension of realism there, but then again, once by this time it's a la John Wick, how the contracts go out. Like it's been known in the underworld now that she's $1 million bounty. So she tries to strike up a deal with these dudes. Help me save my dad. I'll give you $2 million. That is obviously not working based on the line of work those guys are in. A-Ban's in the car trying to get the phone signal, but I think because she's inside the project buildings or whatever, it doesn't really work till the end. Or it's not the phone signal, it's the signal to the tracker, right? To see what's going on. It's later going to explain that. But some interesting sequences here. So he comes in on the dirt bike or whatever it is, motorcycle, right? Comes through the door and just kind of knocks those dudes down. Or I think I forget, he beats up the long-haired dude, if I recall correctly.
Yeah, he takes the long-haired dude out and then takes those few other guys out, and then is the whole kind of
the rush
extreme sports with the bike scene, which is quite entertaining actually.
Yeah, it's a good scene. So the long-haired dude tries to chop off Ting Ting's hand, and then Tony comes in right before. I think he grabs his hand and head kicks him into a table or whatever. You've seen Tony Jaa do that many times. And then, as Gaz said, this is like a cross between Twilight of the Warriors and Raid Redemption or Raid Redemption 2 with the swords and the machete scenes. A crowd of Asian guys wielding machete scenes, which you've seen in many martial arts action movies. He drives out on the dirt bike to do donuts to keep them away, although at times the guys are like 2 feet away and no one's swinging.
Maybe they were just admiring the skill there for a second.
And then when they get knocked down, A-Ban is covering Ting Ting, and he's just like pushing dudes off, even though there's 50 of them and they have kukri knives. At any point, they could have just stabbed him or swung on him. So there's a couple scenes where you're just like, okay, whatever. But anyway, this guy said, Asian martial arts action, just eject your brain and enjoy the ride.
Yeah, this is where it sets up the first fight between Tony Jaa and the hatchet girl, with the scene I was describing where she's attacking him, folks, and you hear the sounds of the hatchets hitting the ground, and you see Tony Jaa moving back, and she's like pursuing him, and it's quite good the way it's done because her attacks are in sequence.
Choreography. I think she's Liu Ping, played by Bo Peng. If I'm not correct, feel free to, if anybody has that right, check me on that.
Because there's limited information, actually, isn't there?
There's not much out there on this movie, guys. It's a low-key underground movie, considering it has, the lead as a martial arts superstar. As they're fighting there, so a little break in the fourth wall gag before they drive. From Ting. He drives them away on the bike, and the dudes start running. Right around at that point, a dude pulls up with not a sawed-off shotgun, but a 12 gauge. What up, Red Cloud? Did a little martial arts. Woo! For UFC tonight. But a dude pulls up with a 12 gauge. He shoots one of his own guys. expendable enforcement, as he said. I was like, oh, whoa. I was like, damn, I feel bad for that guy. I'm sure he had a whole life story. And then before that happened, Ann Bay tells Ting Ting to jump. And she's like, I can't. I'm not Tony Jaa. She says like Tony Jay and so it's like, and he just looks at her like, who the hell's Tony Jaa? But yeah, there was a cool little gag there. I did like that break the fourth wall.
Yeah, she wasn't a bad actress actually who played.
She wasn't bad at all.
I thought she shone in the movie.
Yeah, given her age, and she can probably come up and beat, she can play a Liu Ping style villain down if she chooses to stick with the genre. But the dudes kind of corner them as they're coming out. Liu Ping throws open the fence and just like smashes all the guys in the head. She grabs the dude with the shotgun. This was sick, guys. She hooks the back of the axes into the trigger and the slide. And she gets
that was good.
The bad guys who are apparently on her side, but the character is insane, as Gaz said. So further establishment of psychoticness. Blood splatter all over her face. More insane laughing, shrieking.
She goes more insane as well after this whole fight when she looks into some glass at a reflection and sees that her makeup has run off.
Yeah.
And then that just makes her go insane, and then she screams what she's gonna do to Tony Jaa when she finds him.
Her performance is actually sick, and honestly, the dialogue is like really good in this movie. Like more so in the serious scenes later on with the politicians and the drug lords, but like even her dialogue, like. Tony's is pretty limited because he's got some broken English, but as Gaz said, we don't hold it against him. It's like the first couple movies dude has spoke English in. So I don't know if she eventually peels off the shotgun, and that's when Tony and her go toe-to-toe, as Gaz was saying.
Yeah.
That she hits a pipe, which sprays the water all over the fight, and that's what sprays her makeup off, as Gaz was saying. That one when she's just coming straight down, Gaz, and Tony is like backing up, like that was
that's it. That's a scene, yeah.
That was sick choreography. Pretty much all of her axe strikes. She does tag him at the end, and it's a really good grapple, like between, Tony Jaa being who he is, she holds right up there with him, in terms of this fight and the other skirmishes. And then Tony lands some like finisher shots on her, I think knee to the head, and breaks her through the fence, which sends her to the lower level. So that stops her. Can't really remember how they got away, but because of his injury, I think they go to the vet.
They go to a vet, with some comedic elements there where the guy's saying, right, I don't treat humans, and of course to give him some money, and it's like, oh, kind of welcome.
Pay off. She's like, at that point, Ting Ting has the pistol because Ann Bay is like injured. He didn't take, like, as far as God mode, he didn't take too much damage, but I do like the fact that he was injured in the axe fight because they're like hand to hand, like. Fighting somebody with two axes, you're gonna get scratched, right? So
that's why the following fight they have, and I guess it's me being a bit nitpicky. I would have liked to have seen the second fight between, I'll call her, for want of a better word, Hatchet Woman and Tony Jaa play out a little more. But I do understand why they're showing it, as in the sense he's just fought 50 odd guys in like a small confined corridor in a hotel. He's injured already. He's not fully healed. She knows that. She knows the weak point, and that's how she gets the upper hand. She takes advantage of that. But she was a good villain, good character.
Yeah, she's a good like top henchman. As Gaz was saying, kind of an enforcer hunter for the cartel. So Tony, I think, wakes up. He essentially passed out from the medicine, or Ann Bay. You watch like 20 Tony Jaa movies and try to like review it without calling him Tony. So Ann Bay wakes up. It's like embedded in my DNA and everything.
Same, man.
I liked how he had the fever from the infection, guys. I thought that was realistic. I'm like, that's probably what would happen if you've been like fighting all day for 48 hours and been in multiple of these skirmishes. So he wakes up with the infection. He gets rushed again. I think the other head dude shows up, or he's kind of one of the henchmen that Tony stops out. Awesome, man. Appreciate you, Francis. Are you a fan of Striking Rescue or Tony Jaa? Let us know what kind of films you watch.
Both.
And when you say cat people, are you referring to the movie Cats or The Island of Dr. Moreau?
Are you referring to? Isn't the actual movie Cat People? I think I've only maybe seen it once on TV.
Jay of all trades, what up?
Yeah, welcome, Jay. Thanks, Francis. Thanks for the support there. We appreciate it. Yeah, let us know, Red, because I think I know the cat movie you're on about, if that's the one. And is this a recommendation? Do you want us to cover it? The same with 7 Years in Tibet. Is that something you want us to look at? That's what I'm just wondering. Sorry, Ross. Just
Beckham, you might like, if you like animation, what was that show called that we reviewed, Gaz? Gaz and I did one that had a lot of cyberpunk kind of
Ninja Kamui.
Yeah, Ninja Kamui.
Yeah, that's fire. That's fire.
It's animated,
soundtrack's
but
good as well.
Hyper violent. Some of our homies are on the soundtrack. Did have some of those, a little bit heavy on the sci-fi elements near the end, but it did have some of the espionage elements. You might rock with that. Is Cat People? Is McDowell and Cat People? Because I am an insane Malcolm McDowell fanboy. Okay, I'll check it out. We'll get it on the list, Gazzy. We'll write it down.
Yeah, it is the movie I'm thinking about. It stars Natasha Kinski, Malcolm McDowell, John Hurd, think Annette O'Toole, possibly. I've seen it once on TV, only once, but apparently there's an earlier movie, if this is the original, from 1942. So I wonder if the 80s one was a remake of that.
We could type in chat. Who are you asking, Beckham? Are you asking me or Gaz, or both of us? Well, you made a good choice because Gladiator is one of the greatest films of all time. I'm a huge Tony Jaa fan, especially epically Ong Bak the Thai Warrior, The Protector 1, 2. Yeah, I love Protector 1, 2, just wasn't for me, Francis, but I recommend you watch Striking Rescue because the film is absolutely insane. I mean, as far as bringing Tony back, and it's outstanding. So this fight here, Gaz, this fight gave me Havoc vibes, and I also wanted to mention the Havoc relation because even the way they covered the news in Striking Rescue and the crime element, some of it was like very like almost cyberpunk-esque. They kind of gave me that Havoc aesthetic backdrop. Oh yeah, we got you on that. I understand why he wants the spelling. It was on Adult Swim. It's called Ninja Kamui. Check that out. And you can check out our review when you're done watching it. And a mixture of that and also like the Raid and the Raid 2, like we were talking about the machete fights, like this one. And again, it's not a bad thing, guys. Like just because one fight is similar to another movie we like Raid Redemption, it doesn't make it like you shouldn't watch Striking or whatever. It just it's all. It's a common martial arts trope.
It's an entertaining movie. It's very high adrenaline. There is some fall downs with the pacing, I guess, as Ross said.
Sure.
But right from the introduction, it kind of sets up that we're going to do minimal plot, even though it's very serious, and I get that's why they try and do the more dramatic acting to kind of emphasize the subject matter.
Yeah.
But it does give you a sense of, once you've watched this, I should have saved this for the end, really, but what the hell. It does give you that sense. It's kind of like Tony Jaa using this as a return to doing these kind of movies again. I know he's been doing some in Hollywood, but back to the movies we've been mentioning.
Yeah, appreciate you, Francis. If you're one of Slipknot's guys, that's our guy, of course. Slippy's been holding us down for a long time.
Thanks, Slip. Much love.
So, yeah, as Gaz said, this fight scene is freaking man. So I don't know that I've ever seen Tony go this ham with the blades before, and Bay. Once he gets a hold of those first couple times, and then that henchman, Gaz, he's like saying to the rest of the guys, like, go get him, get in there, and Tony is just dicing through these guys like he's making a pizza, you know what I mean? He literally fucking slices them to smithereens once he gets a hold of that. Some brutal strikes. Tony throws a lot of the 360 backwards elbow, Gaz, a bit of a UFC special move there. So has a few knockouts with that. And he absolutely obliterates these dudes because he's trying to protect Ting Ting. That is when Lu Ping shows up, as Gaz was saying. She's gone for a wardrobe change, so she's drops her. I think you could tell me your read on this, Gaz. When she drops the coat and the close up on the scars on her back. that's either because like she was human trafficked or she was like abused, and that's why she's insane, right? That's what they hinted.
Yeah, I took it like that. Something has happened to make it that psychotic. It's almost as if she's in another reality in a sense. I mean, she's got that line where she the first fight with Tony. I like this. This is fun. Something like that. So
Yeah,
I would think so.
yeah, hell yeah, I'm having fun. It's like the physical scarring is like a symbol of the emotional scarring, and so to speak. And I know me and Gaz are extrapolating, you know what I mean, psychologically this MMA, this martial arts film, but it's kind of what we do here on Paradigm Review Show.
Yeah.
Fast and Furious, yeah, it's cool. He was in there with Paul. Obviously, rest in peace to Paul. It wasn't my favorite Tony Jaa appearance, but you could make the argument it was probably still a better movie than The Expendables 4, which was dog shit in film form.
Yeah, totally agree. 100, Ross.
Which is sad because I'm an Expendables franchise fanatic. So when Liu Ping gets him, she's got the heels on or whatever they were, stuck it in the shoulder wound, as Gaz was saying. So sadism, going with the torture on Anbei. The kills in this movie are grimy, guys. I just want to say, like, from the hand-to-hand kills to the knife kills to the gun kills, direct shots. They don't cut away. This isn't PG-13 Hollywood. Grindhouse.
Yeah, well, they don't do that in Asia. There is one scene especially they would not be able to do in Hollywood. It just wouldn't. Yeah. There's just no way. And I could imagine the outcry on it. But it's the reason they do this. This is all I'm going to say. And you'll know the scene when you watch the movie. It's to emphasize just how evil and villainous the gangsters are. That's why it's being done.
I forgot to mention that. So if Gaz is referring to the murder of like women and children, if that's not your thing, then just go ahead and skip Striking Rescue, because he's, as Gaz said, is hard R grindhouse. They're not going to pull punch on the violence. There's some brutal like torturing family scenes and things of that nature. If that's not what you want to see. There's some brutal kills from these drug lords, and no cutaways. They don't do what Hollywood does, which is cut away and then you hear the gunshot. They actually show it on screen, so it's brutal. As Gaz said, it establishes the pure evil of the drug lords, money motivated, drug motivated. And again, you've heard me talk about that kind of hyper violence with Gomorrah and modern crime.
And also after that scene, as you were mentioning Gomorrah, there, very 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 good comparison is. I'll just say one of the survivors, it's then, right, go take him away. We're going to make him a drug courier and we're going to pump him full of drugs as well. So it really reinforces that further, that these really aren't nice people. This poor individual is now going to be pumped full of, just trying to think of alternative words, Ross, for obvious reasons. He's going to be pumped full of the products, that we market.
Illegal contraband, yeah. Me and Gaz always have to come up with flowery ways to say things because you guys know the algorithm. But I think that's when Ting Ting gets to I'll come back to that fight we're on in a second. But when Ting Ting gets to the slums, Gaz, and that one drug mule dude swallowed it, and like even from the low level henchmen all the way up to like the higher level drug lords, like that one dude is like, hey, pull him over there in the tub and like chop his stomach open and get the product out. Like that's it. It doesn't show you that one, but you can see them drag him away. I mean, it kind of shows you it like a background. So like every little direction you look is hyper violent, but the whole movie is insane. Like just don't.
It's not a company you'd want to work for, is it? If you'd want to be out there and after the interview stage.
You might not want to eat. You might not want to eat during this film. Just keep it to popcorn. And me and Gaz are doing you a favor with that suggestion. So right when Tony's about to pass out from the infection and the fever dream, Liu Ping is shot in the back of the back, and it goes through her chest. That's the last thing he sees. Ting Ting shot her, which was actually sick. I mean, that was super grimy. So she gets eliminated. The last thing he sees is Clay and Ting Ting leaving before he passes out. So pretty crazy. Yeah, unfortunately, bro. Unfortunately.
Oh, that's a good Francis. That's a good movie. I
Yeah, Skin
think
Trade was
we,
sick.
yeah, I think we did review it somewhere, but I don't think it was on
On
YouTube.
our old show, I think it was
Yeah,
our audio show. I don't
yeah,
think it was before we got over here, but yeah, Skin Trade was sick, man.
yeah,
It's amazing. Dolph produced it. I love the concept, and again,
yeah,
that was way ahead of its game on before like the human trafficking thing kind of blew up in the
yeah,
news. Dolph was on that early. Yeah, Skin Trade was amazing. Tony Jaa, Dolph Lundgren, great reco from Francis. If anybody is Tony Jaa or Dolph Lundgren fan, which we are here, go check
yeah.
it out.
It's usually on Netflix as well, guys. That one.
And I don't know if you know, Francis, but we did Universal Soldier 1 last week, a Dolph Lundgren classic. I got to say, Andrew Scott is like probably one of my favorite sci-fi characters of all time as Gaz.
Great.
So I think, okay, so when they went to the hotel, they bribed the girl at the desk, and she called her uncle, who was one of the cartel bosses. So that's why they got pulled up on there. And then I think it's because he has the tracker on her. If like a lot of the flashbacks, he finally explains he has the tracker on her, and I think that kind of leads up towards the last fight, right, guys? Unless I'm missing anything in between.
No, no, you're right. You're right. Yeah.
Yeah, you got to dial in on action movies, Slipknot. So I think the boss is He Ting is the politician. I think it's I'm pretty sure it's Xing Yu, and it doesn't
Claire's
have
Claire, isn't it? Oh no,
Clay's
sorry, I'm
the
thinking.
bodyguard.
Wow.
Yeah, this is the cigar
Yeah.
smoking man. He's the
Yeah.
so they have the senator there, or Hing Ti, He Ting. So many Thai
Possibly,
names.
was it Jing Yu? It was the yeah. Well, I think it was
That
Jing
sounds
Yu.
right.
Jing
Yeah,
Yu. Yeah. Yeah.
that sounds right.
He was pretty good, man. I
He
thought he
was
was
sick,
quite
man. His fight
menacing.
was also dope.
Yeah.
So he's got He Ting there, and that's Ting Ting's father. And then as he walks in, or actually, hold on, the cartel boss's son is yelling at him. He stabbed him in the throat with it. Was it a butter knife, guys? Or fork? It was one of those. Remember, he was like, my dad keeps calling me and tells him to keep me around, keep you around like a dog, and he just grabbed him. He was like, yeah, he's like, you're lower than a dog. He's like, you wouldn't even be a dog.
Yeah.
So, dude, shout out to Dolph Lundgren. He, if my understanding is correct, he's recovered from his cancer diagnosis. So,
yeah, which is fantastic.
Legendary actors at all times. Shout out to Dolph. Wish him well. Maybe make 1,000 more Universal Soldier movies for us to review on Paradigm Review Show. So it sets up this big fight. This is what me and guys were kind of talking about with the 360-degree camera angles and some of the editing. The music works really well in this last scene. Oh wait, hold on. They shot their way in, guys, with that massive shootout when they came in. Tony was up on the outpost with the AK.
Yeah, because there's a guy who tries to take him out with an RPG. Yeah,
that was
call.
yeah. So on the way in there to this fight scene, Clay and Jaa kind of pretty much assault this little campus, and it's kind of like those like Rambo 3 scenes of like the outdoor like kind of tree tops and tree towers and stuff like that. And there's some pretty good shootouts here. I think they both have AKs. Clay fights that other crazy girl, and she's trying to kill him. She stabs him in the chest with the kukri knife. He smashes a bottle on her head. So that was super grimy grindhouse violence. And then there's like a bunch of guys pinning down Clay, and Tony shoots them all. Bay shoots them all in the back with the AK. Bayhan shoots them all in the back with the AK. And then some guy. So it's a little bit cheese, but it's still awesome. I mean, you're coming from the guys who just reviewed Invasion USA, so they shoot a RPG rocket propelled grenade launcher at A-Man, and it's a little bit like, okay, like not the greatest CGI, but at the same time, like it does look sick. Like, you know what I mean? It's not the cleanest, but it's still a nice explosion, you know?
Yeah, I mean, there is a few scenes where you can see some of the low production, I guess, which some people may criticize the movie for.
Yeah.
I ignored that because the fights, the action scenes are very good. I mean, there's
100%.
The early fight between Michael Mao and Hatchet Woman on the truck.
Yep.
When I think Michael Mao gets kicked out of the truck, or just before, and you see you do. you see the back, or you see like the road and the trees in the background, and you can kind of see that it's like a fake background, I
Yeah,
guess.
for
And
sure.
some people might overly criticize things like that, but I take this movie like you, Ross. This is an insane, hyper violent, entertaining martial arts action movie. So little minor things like that I can easily pass over.
Yeah, 100%. Going along with that. Oh wow, I just saw what you said in there, Gaz. Was it a decision or
Yeah, fifth round knockout. Apparently, yeah, everyone.
for Usyk?
Usyk, yeah, fifth round knockout against Dubois. Apparently,
Oof, man,
I
Dubois is
know,
sick,
I know,
but
I was,
man,
I
Usyk
know,
has that knockout. We're gonna have to see that replay. I was gonna tell
yeah,
you guys to tell us in the chat. Damn, I thought maybe the undercard would still be going. Shh, that's crazy. You're getting our live reaction, guys. Usyk versus Dubois.
yeah,
That's oh man, that's crazy.
bummed.
Usyk's my guy. I love them both. I mean, Dubois is incredible. Usyk's
Yeah,
my
I
guy.
just
So
wanted to win this because
yeah,
just with his performance in his last fight, I wanted to see the guy
I don't
go
think he's
on.
going anywhere. They could do him and AJ
Yeah,
too. I mean, Dubois still has
yeah,
options. You know what I mean? So I don't think he's going
and even go
anywhere.
for a third fight against Usyk. Good dude.
Yeah, Usyk's going to have a tough schedule because Turkey's trying to set up him and Tyson 3. So if
Yeah,
he like at his age, if he takes Dubois 3, Usyk 3, dude, he's gonna have and he wants Jake Paul MMA. Usyk would murk
can
Jake
you
Paul.
imagine the amount of stipulations he would put in that?
Yeah,
Like, if
it
you
wouldn't be
breathe
up to
on me
him.
too heavy, I want
It
it.
wouldn't be up to him. No, just everybody suspend your mind for a minute. Imagine if Jake Paul fought Alexander Usyk MMA and Usyk just head kicked him and just flat. You get head kicked by a boxing champion.
Well,
That would be God. That entertainment value would be good.
yeah, for sure.
Okay, so they have this massive shootout outside, and
Yeah,
you know, as Gaz was saying, not the best editing in the world. Some of the blood is a little misting, where like the henchman gets shot, and like the blood is like a red CGI mist that kind of mists out. But again, who cares? You can just—it's a popcorn movie, guys. It's martial arts action. Just eject your brain and enjoy the performance by Tony Jaa as Bei An. So this is where we're at. So he gets inside to the final drug lord. That dude stabs the boss's son in the throat with a knife. They have
yeah,
Heat Ting there. He wants to play a game because he knows that Bei An came to kill Heat Ting. So he gives him the gun, like, hey, you kill this guy, and I'll like set you and the girl free or whatever. Tony doesn't take the bait. He tosses him the gun. I forgot pretty much what happens in between this scene, but I know that it ends in a massive fight with Bei An and the crime boss.
yeah. One moment, folks. My mic is deciding to jump around a bit.
No worries, bud. Just get straight, and then we'll take you guys to this last scene. But yeah, I'd say the big fight choreography scene, this last one, and again, this is Striking Rescue 2024. It didn't really leak out to us in the States and kind of until late January, February. Maybe it was March, April when I watched. I can't remember, guys.
Yeah.
Gaz and I were struggling to get a stream, and then it finally went on to Amazon Prime. I'll try to give you guys.
Yeah.
I believe there's a new kind of like martial arts network, Gaz, Hiya. And that because I get like notifications on IMDb when it goes live on a new streaming service, and that's the only one that it has on IMDb right now. Hiya Prime Video channels. So check out Hiya. It apparently has a bunch of all the new.
Yeah, that's sick because mostly like you have been going to Amazon Prime.
Absolutely. So I don't remember, guys. I think maybe there's some more back and forth, or maybe maybe it's like Tony explaining I tracked her. There's some flashbacks. I tracked her with the homing device tracker, and kind of some back and forth about his family getting killed. Basically, is I think what it amounts to, and then they settle things how they settle things in every martial arts movie, which is a long fist fight to the death, but really sick choreography, the way they go back and forth. I mean, this great villain just as capable as Jaa in terms of the choreography.
Is this the scene? Yeah, this is the fight where there is a little kind of reference in Tony Jaa's background as a security specialist who Xing Yu seems to be the only one who's kind of aware of this. There is other guys asking, right, who are you really? You know, people are quickly figuring out this guy's not just a warehouse worker. He must have done something else. He's very capable. That whole scene's good. The way it sets it up, he takes the guys out. You know, he hides behind one villain. Those guys are shooting him, takes you guys out. And then I think, doesn't he get the table up to take cover behind? And then Xing Yu does a side kick through the table and kicks Tony Jaa against the back doors.
I believe so.
That was sick.
Yeah, I know they square off, and that had a really good 360-degree shot of like throwing the punches and the kicks and the close-ups, as Gaz was saying. They really beat the bag out of each other. I mean, I don't know how much they pulled the punches. The hits really look like they're landing, so it doesn't look like kind of some of the Western or American Hollywood style stuff where they throw a punch and there's like 4 feet of space between like the fist and the guy's head. Like. These for the punches for the body punches and kicks, these dudes were landing on each other, which is a more common thing in Eastern martial arts.
Yeah, especially some of those tie roundhouse kicks, the elbow shots as well. A couple of those head kicks too. The low kicks were quite nasty. Yeah, definitely.
Yep, absolutely. Yeah, it's a lot of good breakdown there from Gaz. And then he kicks him against the back wall. There's like some baseball bats, like lead pipes there. I mean, again, it's a
man. Some of those scenes. Yeah.
Some of those shots, man. So he grabs it. So Tony grabs it. He lands like I think a few shots, but I was kind of laughing, guys. But he was just blocking the lead pipe with his arms. Like, yeah, okay, you could block like 4 or 5 lead pipe shots, like it wouldn't break your elbow.
He took the shot on his head off the lead pipe as well. Took the shot on his head.
Yeah, that's what knocked him out. So the villain got the he disarmed Jaa, got the lead pipe, reversed it on him. He hit like 3 or 4 hard ones on him. Boom, top of the head, knocked out Bayan. And I think Clay got in there with him at some point too, but he got injured.
He did. Clay come in because he's got the assault rifle,
the AK,
and then Xing Yu. I know I'm calling it his real name here because I'm so professional here. He then runs into the back room where Ting Ting and her father are hiding. And I did think the way that was set up, I thought they were both going to square off with Xing Yu, but then we just got, I mean, it's still sick, but then you just got Tony Jaa versus him again, which, don't get me wrong, was still sick, but it's just the kind of way they were hinting at it. I thought they were hinting at it.
Well, I did too, but I think Clay because she had that kukri knife like halfway in his chest, so I think it was like if he's like continuing along like fist fight after that, like it's kind of suspending more. I mean, even though what I'm saying doesn't contradict, because as you said, Tony just got knocked out with a lead pipe, so both of them have sustained like decent heavy injuries. What up? We're gonna try to bring you back on, Mr. B, in October. You want to do Hellraiser? I'm thinking Hellraiser 2, Hell on Earth. Leave your horror recommendations in the chat for October when we do Zodtober. Maybe we'll do that crappy Zodiac 1971 movie. That movie's hilarious.
I can recommend a movie maybe not to watch, and it's funny because earlier this week I watched Zion, which was about it's a veteran Muay Thai fighter fighting zombies in a hospital. It was pretty much the road with the zombies. Now his fights were good, his scenes were good, but Ross, there's parts where special forces team, they've got Kevlar and everything, struggling, but the Muay Thai fighter can take out hundreds and hundreds.
Okay, no, the hand-to-hand guy is always the most powerful god motor in the film. It doesn't matter if they're heavy SWAT units with heavy armor. We all know that doesn't work. What up, Pixie? She's at the pool. Everybody was asking for you.
Oh, hey, Pixie. Hey, welcome and welcome.
We're doing Striking Rescue.
Yeah. Right, we'll get back on point.
If Gaz has any more non-recommendations, you guys could ping him over on his.
well, we're going to get to that at the end.
We're both going to have one for you at the end. One horror you've mentioned, Gaz, is that the Tomb with the WW2 unit that gets the.
Oh no.
We could do that for October.
Yeah, I'm sure somebody recommended it one week, and it's always on TV. I think it's called The Crypt. I think it's an early 80s movie, and apparently it's about an Allied World War II unit that goes to this mysterious castle in Eastern Europe, and there's something demonic there. It's even
I think
taking
that would
out
work for October. You know what I mean?
yeah,
We
man,
could put
that
on
would
the
be
list
sick
if
to get
you
into.
guys want to see the Crypt. That sounds like Slippy. I think he likes horror, but I figured I'd give us one decent one since Gaz was doing Muay Thai Zombies, whatever the hell Gaz was just doing right there.
Yeah, I don't know what I was doing at that time either.
even Gaz doesn't know what he was doing there, so don't worry about it. So yeah, there's kind of the second fight. They break into that back apartment. As Gaz was saying, they kind of drag each other through the kitchen and wipe out all the cabinets and all that stuff and beat the bag out of each other. And then eventually, I think Tony or Bayan lands some like heavy knockout moves on him. I think like a few kicks to the chest, and I think he lands the head elbow on him. Yeah. So the classic Tony Jaa finishers, and kind of.
And what's good? And that's where they'll link it to his training montage at the beginning, Ross, with the moves he does, the head elbow strike and the jumping knee strike as well.
Yeah, the jumping knee on the watermelon. And then so it shows his training montage, very similar to Kickboxer and all the other stuff we've ever talked about. And then he lands some kill shots on him. And it was a sick fight. That last fight was absolutely sick in terms of choreography, music, camera angles. I thought it all worked. Bit of a build-up, like Gaz said, up and down pacing throughout the movie, just because some of the dramatic scenes and the kind of drug conglomerate politics relating to the crime underworld and stuff like that. Similar themes of Havoc and other movies that we've reviewed. The only thing is, Gaz, so when the other female villain they confront Clay, and then there's kind of the double cross and all that stuff, it reveals that she's actually like working against the family and stuff like that. It just, because this was my second watch, guys, it did get a little bit like drawn out. And then obviously Bayan gets her in the barn or whatever it is, the boathouse at the end. Now, the way that he sets her up for the booby trap is absolutely sick. I just don't know if it required a 10-minute conversation, because like after that, it's like 10 minutes of explaining it, 15 minutes of explaining it, 20 minutes of explaining it. I'm like, okay, you probably could have wrapped up this conclusion in like 10 minutes, and then it kind of does a montage of Bayan with his family through the credits. But overall, dope. Now, don't get me wrong, how he booby traps her, super dope. I totally agree with that. It's a bit like what we saw in Universal Soldier when Luke Devereaux put the gasoline on the ground of the barn and shot the lantern out, or they shot the lantern out. It's almost like the same sequence, which is random that we got like a similar final kill in both movies. But yeah, I think Ghazi and I can wrap. I mean, if you guys have anything else, recos or randoms in the chat, feel free to throw out your questions. I think, we want to get Ghazi out of here before he melts or gives us any more crap recommendations. So we could just go.
Oh, there's no shortage of them.
Yeah, well, we're both going to do one, and you guys can blame us 50-50 for that because it's coming.
Yeah,
but
it's terrible for us. We have to do that.
We could probably do our ratings, Gaz. It only has a 5.6 on IMDb, which I'm disappointed out of 10.
Wow.
Only 735 reviews, so like less than 1,000 people have reviewed this, which is crazy. I gave it 7 out of 10. Action, probably a 10. Maybe choreography. Like I said, good sound editing, good film editing. Really good performances from all the Thai actors, from Tony Jaa to Ting Ting to the villains to Lu Ping. Really solid villains. Bloody, hyper violent. Oh wow! Be careful, Pixie. Don't want you to fall in there and forget how to swim. I'm going to be partaking in some of that shortly before these MMA fights. If you guys want us to do our picks, we got out of here. Johnny Eblin just lost. I'm pissed. Daniel Dubois lost. Gaz is pissed. Both of our dudes just lost. So we need to go big on this UFC card. I need Holloway to spoil Poirier's retirement fight. But the keep, that is it. Jurgen, Gabriel Byrne, and Scott Glenn. Yeah, have you seen it, Slippy? Do you like it? If so, let's get it on the October list. Okay. All right. Okay. Whew. You're putting a lot of pressure on me here. So I'm a Max Holloway guy. I love Dustin Poirier. I'm a Max Holloway guy. Here, let guys do our ratings, and then we'll do UFC picks for you guys. We're getting ahead of ourselves.
It's all right. We've got a roast to come as well.
Yeah, we've got a roast as well, so we're gonna cram that in. But Ghazi, you do. I know you're around the similar rating as me, so you give your final breakdown.
Action 10 out of 10, 7 for the film overall regarding pacing, story, and everything. It's still an entertaining movie. If you're fans of action, martial arts movies, then I would still recommend it. It's still probably one of the better movies that's around at the moment.
For sure. Yeah, I mean, it was like we said, a whole Eastern release, and it kind of seemed late on getting out to me. Me and Gas were looking for months. We're like, hey, we saw the trailer. We're like, whoa, Tony Jaa's back. Like, and we couldn't find it in typical Paradigm Review show fashion. But after about 4 or 5 months, we finally found it and watched it and reviewed it for you guys. So you guys check it out too. Yeah, okay, it was probably a Slippy thing, like I was saying. We'll get the keep on for you.
I know somebody recommended it. It was probably you, Slip.
Yeah. Okay. Before we get to UFC, let's just get let's address the elephant in the room, guys. If you want to talk real martial arts, it's always a great conversation review. If you want to talk martial butts, which is what Mortal Kombat 2 trailer is, there's 2 trailers. So there's ooh, nice. I'd like to see a 4K version. What up, Pink TV? What's good? Haven't seen you before, you knew. How do we even approach this? Usually I just hand off the butt stuff to Gaz because he's better at like explaining it than me. I just get too emotional, and then once I get angry, I get thrown off and I can't articulate my thoughts. So I watched the first trailer, and it was a Johnny Cage fake trailer of one of his fake movies. It's also Carl Urban, who's like 60 whatever and clearly not American, which Johnny Cage is an American movie star based on Jean-Claude Van Damme. We talked about that in the Bloodsport Van Damme relation, or the Bloodsport Mortal Kombat relationship in our Bloodsport review. Go check that out. And then right before we came on here, I watched the new full trailer. Gaz, that's where I'm going to tag in you. So bad.
Okay, I'll start with what I actually liked, I guess, to be positive. I guess Shao Kahn looks okay. I liked Scorpion's little part at the end.
I wasn't sure I all the way understood that, though, because he pulled Noob Saibot's shadow form out of himself and chopped that in half with his flame.
I was literally clutching at straws. I'm like, what is there that I actually liked in the trailer? I mean, the music's but what the hell? The music's but Jade doesn't look like Jade. Baraka, I thought, looked quite but. You've got New Zealand via the way of East End London, Cockney Cage. All right, my son, I'm going to sort you out. You words I can't say on here, and I know that was a terrible impersonation. Carl Urban just does not look like Johnny Cage. He's not a martial artist. I get if they're wanting to go with a veteran Cage to show him washed up. This is kind of his return as a hero and all of this, but it has. I'm sorry, but if they're going to go down that route, I would have rather had Scott Adkins play Cage, and I could have overlooked the accent because at least he's got the chops to do that.
At least Scott's done a few American roles where he can do a semi-American accent.
Better than this one where you're just waiting for him to go, "Oi, Shao Kahn, you."
I'm Johnny Cage, you see.
Yeah.
I don't get what he's doing because all we talked about is how everybody loves Billy the Butcher as one of the top 2 best The Boys characters as like Homelander and Billy. And then he comes out with this total piece of crap.
Dude, it's almost as if, I don't know if you've ever seen those hooligan movies, Rise of the Foot Soldier and everything, I think, or those the Essex Gangster movies, possibly. Yeah. I think those are the Essex Gangster movies. And then there's all the, the different soccer hooligans. Almost like, all right, we'll go into a pub in the East End. Are you doing anything to dinner? Do you want to be in Mortal Kombat 2? Yeah. Or just have to, just go and headbutt Shao Kahn a few times.
Do you want to play Johnny Cage, or do you want to play the Kano, who the character matches the accent?
And Slips just made a good point. So Lyndon Ashby from the 1995 OG version is better as Johnny Cage, more convincing. And we get this scene with Carl Urban doing a little bow form. It was terrible. I'm just like, this is the worst miscast in history. Look, if this is actually good and it makes me and Ross eat our words, I'll happily say something. So you know what? Yeah, he was good and blah, blah, blah.
But why is Johnny Cage always the main character? The main character in the last one was, it was like Luke King, right? It was your
favorite, wasn't it, Cole Butt? That's a good thing. They've maybe done away with Cole Butt.
Yeah, man. It's just
intentionally provoking you.
Where's Mac when you need him? Because he's a PXF resident Mortal Kombat expert. I mean, I'm casual Mortal Kombat, but just it's always an adventure.
Yeah, and I think in the originals, from what I remember, Johnny Cage, Liu Kang, not my favorite character from MK, to be honest. There was Sonya. You do see Sonya. I think you see
Jax,
Jackson in the
yeah,
trailer as well.
yeah,
And then Mortal Kombat Annihilation with Christopher Lambert. I think that's where they had Cyrax and the other
yeah,
cyborg ninja.
yeah.
This just,
Sector.
yeah, thanks, Slip. We called him Cole Butt
Yeah.
because he was butt. But this
Cheeks.
just looks horrible. I
Okay,
mean,
okay.
if the,
Juxtapose that piece of crap
yeah,
to the casting for this so-called Street Fighter movie, which is supposedly going to have Walton Goggins as M. Bison, who's a legend,
yeah.
Roman Reigns,
Oh yeah,
Jason
yeah. He's announced it. Yeah,
Jason Momoa. I
yeah.
think there's a few other like wrestlers and fighters. So everybody like generally matches the aesthetic, you know. Whereas in Mortal Kombat, dude, I'm sorry, but that lightning effect Raiden was doing was butt. It didn't look any better than it looked in the '90s. In '93 when one
Well,
came out, it looked worse. The CGI
that was my
buttons.
that was my point with the first one, man. Like the first with Mortal Kombat, I'll say new Mortal Kombat. So the last one prior to this,
Yeah.
the first part of the movie with Scorpion and the end was the best part of that movie. Everything else was and this just. I don't know, man. I mean, look, if it is good, I'll say, hey, man, this was actually pretty good. It was sick. They got this right. They did this. But at least with Street Fighter, with those actors, we know Roman Reigns, or whether anyone's whatever wrestling show you're a fan of, I watch them all. At least you know this guy is going to be able to sell a convincing. Oh, I'm getting that passionate. I'm starting to hit things.
Cold dome.
Yeah, you know he would be able to sell that scene convincingly.
Oopsie.
It's getting contagious, man.
It is.
So,
Toxic Crusader just freaking free falled onto my shoulder because he doesn't want us talking about butt films. Sorry about that, Toxie. Won't happen again.
Yeah.
We promise.
Do you think there's too? Yeah, I do think there's far too much CGI, and that stood out. Yeah, I do.
Yeah. Big time.
There is Slip. Maybe you know this. Again, because we're live and there's millions of things going on in our minds, so I cannot remember this on the fly. Yeah. But there was a web series about maybe 10 or 12 years ago, and it had the actor who played the original Shang Tsung. He was the villain in Showdown in Little Tokyo. I can't pronounce his last name, but he's Japanese-American actor. Kari.
Oh, the dude that played David Lopan?
No, I don't think he played David Lopan. He was the villain in Showdown in Little Tokyo.
Little China, my bad.
Yeah, but that's an awesome movie as well, though. So he was in the web series, I think, reprising his role as Shang Tsung. It was R-rated. It was pretty grimy. I think even me and Ross covered it on the old show. Yeah, that's it, Slip. I just...
He said Kari Hiroyuki Tagawa.
Hiroyuki Tagawa, yeah. And that was dope. That was more close to a Mortal Kombat that they could do. This just feels like they're going for the CGI, as Slip has said, the fun factor.
The aesthetic
almost as if...
Yeah.
Go on.
The aesthetic of that indie Mortal Kombat was like the aesthetic of like Unisoul Regeneration, which was like dark, lo-fi lighting, and it was like more realistic. You know, like Reptile was like eating those heads in the refrigerator. It was more like a horror element. It was working.
Yeah, this just looks almost looks like you're playing a game, which in a way I could see some argue is good in one sense, being accurate to the game, but you would like it to have that dark. I would prefer that dark serious overtone, make it R-rated, ramp up the horror parts in it as well, Ross.
What was the last slide of that trailer? Trying to be nice for YouTube here to what we call it on our group chat. It was the video game promo. So if they're just going for cross promo of Mortal Kombat 1, like at a certain point, as guys are saying, what's the point of watching the movie then if it's just going to be a bad CGI version of the video game that you could just play for yourself, you know?
Yeah, exactly.
Looks crap. I mean, it'd be nice to have Mac weigh in on that at some point because he's our MK head. All right, guys, we're going to do some UFC picks before we get out of here. So Dustin's retirement match versus Holloway. This is for Beckham if he's still with us. And I know you're into, I don't know if you're watching UFC tonight, picks. I'm going Holloway. I mean, Dustin's a beast, so it's an uphill battle, right? So, I mean, whatever. Roman Kopylov, I don't really know much about him or follow him, so I'm probably going to go Costa on that. I don't go Costa every Costa fight, just to be honest. Holland versus D-Rod, they're both cool. I'm more of a Holland guy. Dan Ige versus Patricia Pitbull. That's a tough one. I like them both. I like Ige. I'm probably going to go Pitbull just because he didn't win his debut, so I'd like to see him get a dub. And I don't really have any stake in Michael Johnson versus Daniel Zellhuber. Take a quick look at the prelims. I want Martin Vettori to absolutely stomp Brendan Allen. And yeah, RIP to me and Gaz's boys, Johnny Eblin and Dubois. Looks like both took some L's, but that's fighting, guys. That's pro sports, and combat sports are difficult, especially when you fight champions. Okay. Are you going Holloway with me? Who do you got? Any other picks, guys, or any other shout-outs, drops before we wrap up here?
I'm pretty much the same as you on UFC. Holloway, certainly. Karate Combat 55, I think that either went out earlier or is on later today, so I'm going to try and catch that as well. AW All in Texas was very good, and if anyone caught that, it was a very good card. So that was interesting. Just as usual, thanks to everybody for joining us. Any recommendations for things that you would like us to cover or to look at, again, just pop them in the comments and we'll add them to our list. And thanks to you, Ross. And everybody have a good weekend.
Next week, I think we're back with Sword of Doom. Samurai film makes its return, 1966. And then after that, we have some absolute bangers. So, Gazzy, you've got to fill that slot for the first week of August. And then we'll have some badass stuff for you guys for August. Of course, Enter the Dragon. You guys wanted Blade. We're going to try to do Toxic Avenger. I'm going to be on the road, so I might do it from the PXF mobile battle station, Star Destroyer.
Undisclosed location again.
Yeah, back to the undisclosed location. So my man Vega's up there. I'm going to be up in the great North Woods. So I'm going to try to get to the theater, see Toxic Avenger remake, and then there's a lot of Toxie news in the space, guys. As soon as the game goes up on Steam, Gaz and I will be playing the beat 'em up and reviewing that. But they did do a remaster of both discs of the original animated series, the Blu-rays. From Retroware, who made the beat 'em up, helped edit this. So go rock that, guys. Get that Blu-ray on the Troma website. And then I've been collecting a few new of these lately, so you know I'm about to go ham. So those are for you, Pixie. I think we're out. Like I said, you guys know the original drops. And you're the best mod on YouTube. Floating around on floaties, smoking doobies while modding. We wouldn't have you doing any other task. Thanks, Beckham. Appreciate you. Shout out to everybody, the new guys, all of Slippy's homies, Ping TV and Francis. And yeah, as always, guys, leave your recommendations below. Leave your recommendations in the comments. Sword of Doom next week. Click the join button for a membership. Get 24-hour early access to the main series.
I've got to say this, Ross, before we go. Do you think they're going to have then Cockney Cage do a kind of Billy Butcher fatality where he just calls people the C word, as I said, until they pass out?
I already said it's going to be the Laser Eyes, the Cyclops. He has to Cyclops. I mean, if he's going to be Cockney Billy Butcher, he has to Cyclops eyes. There's no way around that. Shout out to The Boys Season 5. Gaz and I will be reviewing that when it drops. But yeah, click the join button for a membership. You can get me over on the Patreon. There's still a couple Most Dangerous game related things left that we'll probably rip. I want to do Deadliest Prey. I want to do Avenging Force with Gaz, and then also Rampage. We got Rampage coming up that will relate to the Zodiac letters when he references that. Also Badlands. We're going to get that in August. So we got a Vanishing Point. Zodiac goes to the movies. So we're going to get
another shout, and I'll definitely let them go. Apparently, they are making a film of the
Odyssey.
Of the Odyssey. It's got your boy John Buthnell in it, so
Chris Nolan.
Yeah, that could be pretty good.
In terms of new guys, I mean, there's not much in the theater, so we're just going to do PXF classics and vigilante martial arts action and what we're used to. Nobody 2, I think, does drop early August, so Gaz and I will check it out. We did review Nobody 1. Go check that out. Bob Odenkirk's first action movie. But other than that, I'm not. I think I'm going to skip Fantastic Four. You could give us your review on that, guys. I got him. And other than that, guys, there's just I do want to see Weapons, so we'll check out Nobody 2. We'll check out Weapons. Time Cop is coming back, but it's riff tracks. Those are the comedy dudes that roast movies. But Nobody 2, August 15th. And then I feel like there is one more thing dropping after that. What's dropping after Weapons? Now I'm completely spacing. But yeah, we'll check it out. And I heard, bro. I heard. That's crazy, dude. I need to go watch the replay. I haven't seen any of the new Jurassic Parks, brother. I haven't seen any of them. But I'm way back. But yeah, guys, enjoy the fights, enjoy UFC, and like we said, keep the recos coming. There's not too much new stuff coming, but yeah, no, I hear you, bro. I haven't seen this. Matter of fact, I think I'm behind in those. I also missed that new Mission Impossible, so I need to go catch up on those.
Yeah, that was good.
Things I'm going to catch up on, the Mission Impossible franchise and both the Den of Thieves movies. I'm going to watch all of those. So yeah, guys, we'll keep it rocking. Thanks for rocking with us. Appreciate y'all. And tune in next week for Sword of Doom. Toxic Avenger. That was the other new thing, guys, the remake. So we'll be hitting that hard, guys, end of August. So shout out to Troma, Lloyd Kaufman, and his brother who has the restaurant we talked about here in Dago. All right, guys. San Diego Comic-Con weekend as well. So if you're out there at SGCC, hit me up. Maybe I'll pop down to Gaslamp for the bars for some beers after. I think Gabe is out there from the Z-Files. No, we didn't do it yet, but I think me and Gaz have it on the list. We have that. We have what's that other one we were talking about, Gaz? The Robert Redford one with the grizzly bear in it. I literally just looked at something. It's not the Outlaw Josie Wales. Yeah. Anyway, more westerns, more samurai films coming. Yeah. Toxic Avenger remake. Yeah, we're gonna go hard, and then that will basically take us through September. And then we'll start doing the horrors for you guys in October. So, and we have some sick stuff coming up in September, a few new guests, and more westerns. Rest in peace to Michael Madsen. Shout out to Lauren Lepre. Yeah. I'll probably be back on Average Superstar doing the wrap up news with him. So, yes, absolute. All right, guys, appreciate you. Click the join button for the membership. Get me on Patreon. Join for free with the Gmail. And yeah, Toxic Avenger. Can't go wrong with Toxie. All right. We're out, guys.
All right, take care. Thanks.
And join and some sub guys over on Mosh Shinobi. Next week, Sword of Doom.
Take care, y'all.
Holloway, let's go.